wants to throw it to Sewell. He caught it. He Sewell on first down. Oh, yes. The big man dives down the 31-yard line. Oh, that is beautiful. Fields looking pressured, hit from behind, taken down. Aiden Hutchinson got him.
No respect.
So, we look like we're ready. This is day one.
No respect.
What's happening, Andy B? And welcome everybody to Rocked On Detroit Lions. We're doing the pregame show. We're breaking it down tonight. Andy, what's up, man? Say hi to everybody out there.
What's up, Lions Nation? How's everyone doing tonight? Will Rock, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. Look, I am excited. I'm ready to go for tomorrow's game. I'm actually more excited about Thursday's game. So we're staying home tomorrow. We're getting ready for the Thursday game, Thanksgiving. It's gonna be a big feast, big time, early game. So we're gonna be rested and ready to go for Thursday. But tomorrow, look, we've got the Bears, and there's been quite a bit of talk out there that we can't let these lowly Bears come into our house and do something that they're not supposed to do. So my first question to you, Andy, is are you concerned? And look, I've read it, I've seen it, that this is a trap game. Now, I'm not saying I believe it, but do you think that there's a potential that the Lions are going to sleep because they're getting ready for Thursday too?
No, I don't believe so, because in reality, I think of all the teams in the NFC North, the only team I have now any kind of concern about would be Minnesota. So I think also when it comes to division games, those have to be exercised with caution. You could look at this as a trap game. This is a game that they can't throw away. They can't go into it thinking, they can't go into it like they did what I believe is how they went in with Seattle. They can't go into it thinking, well, this team's not going to be that bad, So I think it's a potential for a trap. I believe Detroit will get the W. It's a division game. Again, those are some of the most, if not the most important games for a team. And if Detroit wants to keep putting a stranglehold on the division and on the NFC, this is a must-win game, regardless if the Bears are good or bad.
Well, I think I'm with you there. I wouldn't necessarily call this, trap game potential. But look, I mean, the Lions are coming off of a thrilling last-second victory against the Chargers, and they were on the road, so they're coming home. So they've got all the travel involved. And look, they spent a lot of energy versus the Chargers. I mean, a ton. And I don't know how many people really think about it, but, in some of those games where they're really tight, hard-fought games, and you're working that much harder and you're not able to get as much rest for your main guys, it's tougher the next week. So am I saying that this is a trap game? No. Do I believe it? No. Do I think that it's going to be a difficult game? Potentially. And I think the reason is, for me, my first point would be, we don't know what we don't know. Right. And what we don't know right now is what they have for a defensive edge rush. We know the name, we know who they have, but they've only been together for a couple of weeks, and they really haven't figured each other out yet. But that's probably my main concern. So what do you think about their edge rush right now? They added Montez Sweat, and I believe in the first couple of weeks, he put up about a dozen or 10, pressures on the quarterback. Do you think that these Lions are going to have any sort of an issue corralling, the edge rush from Chicago?
I don't think they do. I don't think they will. I mean, they'll definitely have to pay more attention to it, which I think they probably done with the filming and during practices and whatnot. But I don't see any reason why that offensive line can't. What was that?
They were stealing signs. Oh, that's the wrong team. Sorry, across the other pond. My bad. Keep it going.
Yeah, let's keep it professional, Will. Now I lost my train of thought. Thanks, buddy. No, I'm kidding. I don't see any reason why this offensive line can't keep this defensive back. I mean, Montez Sweat, yeah, he's a danger. I wish we would have actually traded for him. We're going back to the trade deadline stuff, and he was on my wish list, but now he's in our division. We have to deal with him. I'm not very worried about this defense or the guys on the edge. I think our offensive line is going to do what they've done best, and they're going to protect Goff, and I really don't see any issue. I mean, they'll get through occasionally. I know they will. We all know they will. But overall, I see no problem with the offensive line protecting Goff and keeping those guys away from him.
So, I mean, we'll get, into this a little bit more here in just a minute, but I think if you take a snapshot out of the Chargers game and you look at how well our bookends did against arguably two of the best, pass rushers in the league, they didn't let up a sack. They kept Goff clean the entire game. It was, a very difficult game because they had to drop back and pass 60 times in that game, I think it boiled down to. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I know it was a lot. I know that the Goff chucked the ball a ton. Maybe it was 46 times, but he threw a lot more in that Chargers game than he has all season long. And for him to stay as clean as he did, and, he evaded pressure a little bit, but we know Goff is not known, to have good feet. He's he can move, right? He can run when he needs to run, but he's not somebody that we expect to be nimble on his feet to really escape a pocket and to keep things moving with his legs. Even though he can a little bit, it's not his forte. That's not what he's built to do. So anyway, that's the preface to the pregame, breaking it down. I want to kick it back to the chat real quick and just welcome everybody in. And once again, welcome to Rock Down Detroit Lions, breaking it down pregame series for Lions versus the Bears, week 11. At home at Ford Field. What does everybody in the chat have to say real quick before I run into the injury report?
Well, we got Mike Miller, our old buddy Mike Miller. Welcome in, buddy.
Hey, Mike, how you doing, man?
Cowboys are the only game I see as a problem. I had Chargers game as a problem. Scheme for the future. I got one more here. JJ Watt to the Lions? That's what some people are saying. I highly doubt it happens. I'll keep it real short. I highly doubt that happens either. That's Full Slate Farms. Welcome in.
So let me comment on that one real quick because I just got off the phone with somebody, and he was talking about this too. That it was kind of all over the airwaves today and on YouTube. And there's a YouTuber out there that claims to be an insider. And he has all these sources, and he was saying that, all of these people are in JJ Watt's DMs, and JJ's trying to work out a deal to come to Detroit. Look, here's the truth, and anybody can research this. He's still under contract with the Cardinals. And I don't know the legalities around it, but I think, if I understand contracts well enough, we're past the trade deadline. So it's not like he can unretire, go to the Cards, and be traded. The Cardinals would have to release him of his contract, if I understand it correctly. And if that's the way that it works, do you honestly think that's the way it's going to happen and they're going to get zero compensation back for it? I don't think so.
No
so, in my opinion, I didn't spend hours of research into this today. I just looked at his contract and looked at a few parameters surrounding it. I don't really think it's possible. So I look, the guy that keeps saying this stuff, he's about 0 for 12 on all of the things that he's been saying all season long. And I've lost my credibility. I don't really have time to listen to anybody else other than Lions Syndicate, who I always listen to because Lions Syndicate and Derek, man, he has a great show. And we love him over here at Rock Down Detroit Lions. So if you want good quality news, go listen to him too. All right, what's back in the chat, Andy? And then I'm going to jump into the injury report.
Says, I don't think JG will have a major problem. Obviously, Jared Goff, Bill Collier. Yes, welcome in. I agree 100%. That's pretty much what I got. And Will, just one more point I want to make. You did make a real key point here about the two edge guards for the Bears. If our offensive line, as you said, was able to hold back Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa the way they did, that's why I also kind of made the point to say I can't see our offensive line having a problem with those two guys on the Bears either.
Yeah, no, and that's a great point. It's one of those things where you would think that things are going to be fairly similar across the board, right? That if you can hold off two of the best, why can't you hold off two of the better? You know, I don't see where the Bears defensive ends are better than what we saw, you know, against the Chargers at all, or the Chiefs or anybody else that we've seen all season. I mean, even the Raiders. I mean, we just took on the Raiders and we kept Goff clean, I think, about 99% of the game.
Yeah.
So I saw someone's comment in here about, there is some void years. Yes. So the void years were post 2023. Is my understanding. But we'll see what happens. I mean, crazier things have happened. I haven't done a ton of research into it. We'll see what happens with it, but I highly doubt it.
Right.
It would be great, but I think this one's just kind of clickbait for now, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
So
I can't see any situation.
That's why you don't see me putting stuff up like that one. I'm just not going to do it. All right. So injury report. It's not looking too shabby, guys. We have our game designation. The final, it comes out tomorrow morning, about 10:30, 11:30 or so in the morning. But we know Isaiah Buggs is out. And if you guys caught my video earlier today, I spoke on it. I wanted to speak on it, yesterday before I left to the premiere, and I got tied up. But this Buggs thing is starting to bother me. And when I watched Dan Campbell kind of squirm a little bit at the podium and answering the questions that he was being asked, something stinks to me. I don't know if there's really something going on with Buggs, but what he mentioned in week 1 is what stuck with me. And that's where he said that relationships break down and they change. And I'm wondering if that's what we're looking at now, is that maybe Buggs is either lost respect or, the coaches have lost respect, vice versa, and they're just not seeing eye to eye. These coaches have a game plan, and that's the plan that they're going to stick with, and they're going to put the best guys in. In my opinion, I thought that Buggs was a much better player than some of the guys that have been in place of him, especially in some of the situations. But that's why I'm here and not there, right? I mean, they see it day in, day out. They know. But the Buggs thing just stinks to me. I mean, he's always been in it to win it for the Lions. He's always done an excellent job. And I've seen better production when he's been in the game. The first game he got in this season, and I still didn't go back and look. I think it was the Bucks game. But he played great, and we had great penetration on the line. So next guy that's out is Jonah Jackson. I mean, how difficult is it? The Lions are yet again putting their 8th different offensive line formation in. Shout out to Hank Fraley. My goodness, man, this guy is the second Jedi on this Lions team. I mean, next to Brad Holmes, Hank Fraley's doing it, man. I mean, this guy, he's putting rookies in that are tackles at guard, and they're playing great. So I think it's incredible. If Yatu Melifonwu, he's questionable, he'll probably suit up. He was a full participant Friday. And like I, spoke with Andy about earlier in the season, when I see these reports, if they're a full participant on Friday, unless something drastically changes in a Saturday walkthrough, if they do one, they're going to play. Levi Onwuzurike, I can't say his name today. He's in, it looks like, full participant. Donovan Peoples-Jones. This is the biggest one. Looks like he's probably going to suit up. Frank Ragnow's good to go, and Khalif Raymond's good to go. I know we had a little bit of a scare with his ankle, but he's ready to roll. So just the 2 out. And I'm going to head over to the chat for just a second. Tell me, you guys, what do you think about the Buggs situation real quick? And then my second question to you is Jonah Jackson. I believe this is his last season under contract. Do you want the Lions to franchise tag Jonah with the injury concerns that he's been having kind of consistently? Or are you ready for them to go after another high valued target in the draft and grab a, second round guard I guess I wouldn't do a first round guard, but maybe a second round guard in 2024. Those are my two questions for you. Andy, take the chat away.
All right, Full State Farms. I think Bugs is having mental health problems.
That's an interesting one. I wouldn't know how to comment on that one without actually knowing him, but if he is, I can only, hope that he seeks the treatment that he needs and that he gets better, because I think everybody in this world suffers from something at some point, and they just need, some love and and something around them, to make sure that they're okay. So hopefully that's not the case.
Answer 14 says Bugs had a little negative history with the Steelers, maybe a little character breakdown. I sure wish he was on the field. I couldn't agree more. And this kind of goes to your last point. Hank makes men out of boys. He definitely can work with nothing and make it something. I agree with you on that one. And can't wait to see what DPJ can do for us.
I think that's a great question right there in DPJ. So I said it a couple weeks ago when we got him. Do you guys think that he's going to fight for more targets than JMO? And I know that's a touchy subject, especially after seeing what JMO did in the last game. But if he comes in and grabs a couple of balls right away, what do you think is going to happen?
JMO's playing time is going to get doing. Well, I think if DPJ starts becoming another reliable target for Goff, then you're going to see Jamison Williams, I think, reduced to a role of an occasional quick little dink pass if he can catch it. Maybe you get that one shot of a long ball where he catches it in the end zone like he did against Tampa Bay. Or the other one that I'm very impressed with, I will say JMO does something right, providing a run block like he did for David Montgomery last week. I mean, he has his uses, I guess you could say, but I just don't. Goff has that bond with receivers that he likes, like any other quarterback does. And if he starts getting on the same page quickly with DPJ, like he already is with Amon-Ra or Laporta, I don't know. I just don't think the future is going to look very bright for JMO at this point. And once again, just for clarification, anyone who's listening and anyone who's a big JMO fan, I can speak for Will. We don't want to see this kid fail. I want to see him succeed, but until something starts drastically happening, it can get kind of tough to have that faith. Just had to throw that in there.
Yeah, I saw a good one pop up. Yes, that one. What's funny, Zax, is when you hear my breakdown here in just a minute, the few points that I put together about tomorrow's game, that's on there, and it's on there for a reason. So great point, Zax. Spot on, man. At least spot on with me. Who knows if we'll be right? We'll see tomorrow.
I just got a couple more, Will, I wanted to touch on. I think Aaron, welcome in. I think DPJ will end up bumping someone else out of the lineup other than JMO. That's kind of a hard one on that one, but I
mean, Khalif is Mr. Khalif, man. He's Mr. Consistent. I don't see Reynolds going anywhere. St. Brown's not going anywhere. I mean, Antoine Green is pretty much relegated anyway to the last spot right now. I think next year he'll have a better year. All right, that's a tough one. I mean, right now they gotta catch the ball and do the damn thing, and if they do, they're in the game. All right, so let me. There was one other one in there. Brent DeWitt says Bugs. There were rumblings about his focus coming out of Pittsburgh. And Hank's the man, red zone TD for DPJ Sunday. JMO's progression is fine. Love the take, Brent. Good job, man. All right, so injury report's all set. Look, the big one on the list for me for Chicago Bears is Noah Sewell. And the reason why is I wanted to see two sets of brothers going up against each other. You know, you've got the St. Brown brothers and then the Sewell brothers. I just thought it'd be kind of a unique thing, you know, an annual tradition, if you will, to see the brothers going up against each other. But as far as Chicago goes, they have Noah Sewell out. Everybody else is either listed as questionable or full participants. So they're looking pretty healthy. I don't think that there's anybody on Chicago's side that we need to worry about. You know, Khalil Herbert's coming back. Deontay Foreman's fine. Justin Fields is supposed to suit up. Linebacker Tremaine Edmonds looks like he's questionable, but he'll probably suit up. So it's going to be a different game than what the Bears have played the last few weeks, but I think these Lions are ready for it. And if you want to watch tomorrow's game, it's going to be at 1 p.m. It'll be at Ford Field, and it'll be on Fox, or the NFL Sunday Ticket is where you can catch the game tomorrow. All right, so we already went through my first question, which was some may call this a trap game. I think we're both in agreement that it has its makings of a trap game because the Lions are preparing for two teams in the same week. And it's going to make it tough coming off of a road game. This is the toughest stretch for the Lions, which is right now. This is the hardest part of our schedule for the entire season. If we get through this unscathed, I'm telling you right now, if we take another loss the rest of the season, unless we're resting players, I'd be surprised. And that even includes the Cowboys. So the Bears run a 4-3, one gap defensive scheme on defense. And that is the same scheme that the Lions have been running for the past few seasons until they changed it to a 1.5 gap system this season. So the Lions are very familiar with this scheme. They've been running it a while. AG is, he's a professor and very proficient within that scheme. So we should be able to utilize our offensive threats perfectly to align with what they can and what they can't do and what they can and what they can't defend. But I'm going to start with the Bears' keys to the game. And I only did a few points, for each team. And I'm going to start with this. Goff has led the Lions to the top of the NFC North by directing an explosive, balanced, highly potent offense that ranks second in the NFL today in total yards, fourth in rushing, and fourth in passing. Goff is completing a career high of 68.4% of his passes, over 2,500 yards with 14 touchdowns and 5 interceptions, 99.1 passer rating, which ranks 8th in the NFL. In the 4 games against the Bears since joining the Lions in 2021, Goff has thrown for 961 yards, 8 TDs, 0 interceptions with a 118.6 passer rating while only being sacked 8 times. So for me, the key to their game is Goff. They're going to have to pressure Goff. And the only way that they have at beating the Lions is getting pressure, but it's not just pressure. They have to get home. We know that when Goff's under pressure, that he's able to complete the passes just as well as if he wasn't. He's actually one of the most efficient quarterbacks this season, completing passes with only 2.4 seconds or less to make the pass and to make the read. So first statements is, look, they need to make Goff uncomfortable in the pocket. That'll be crucial. That's my first key to the Bears having any sort of success. The Bears, like we said earlier, did attempt to bolster their pass rush with the acquisition of defensive end Montez Sweat. Whether it pays off yet or not, we don't know. It's yet to be seen. However, the Bears have only recorded 13 sacks on the season and have a very, very tall task ahead of them going up against the second best, which I feel is the first best, offensive line in the NFL, with arguably 2 of the best bookends in the NFL, Taylor Decker and Penei Sewell, and the anchor, Frank Ragnow at center. I don't care who's in the middle. I really don't. You could put those 3 guys on any team and put any guards you want next to them. They'll be a top 10 offensive line, I think, anywhere, to be honest with you. I mean, at least that's what we've seen out of, this offensive line so far this season. The Lions will be without Jonah tomorrow, but we've already seen that this O-line, that's coached by Hank Fraley, can do its damn thing week in, week out. Doesn't matter what the scenario is, I guess is what I'm saying. Sweat, he did help to fuel an improved pass rush in the Bears' last game versus the Panthers. Oh, geez, the Panthers. But he had 8 pressures. He had 3 quarterback hits, and it helped create some opportunities for his fellow linemen, Ngakoue, Justin Jones, and Rasheem Green, that they all 3 got sacks. The Bears defense takes on a big step in class, though, going up against this Lions potent offense. Our attack, it's unseen what the Lions have done this season compared to previous seasons. We did something similar last season, but this powerful attack that we have on offense is something that the Bears haven't seen out of us yet. Detroit is the NFL's only team that boasts 4 players with at least 400 yards from scrimmage and 4 scrimmage touchdowns in running backs David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown, and tight end Sam Laporta. That's freaking incredible. So if you didn't understand what I'm saying there, is they have 4 players with at least 400 yards from scrimmage and 4 touchdowns on the season. So again, this is the first key for the Bears. If they want to have success tomorrow, it's beating our line and getting to Jared Goff. I don't think it's going to happen. And even their own coach, Coach Eberflus, had this to say. He said, certainly this offense is a good offense. It's got a lot of skill, and they distribute the ball around to different players and make you defend it horizontally and vertically. It's going to be a big challenge for us. Yeah, you think? Well, back to Zach's point is even Coach Eberflus knows and recognizes, I mean, he's the coach for God's sakes, that we do like to diversify where this ball goes. And we're hitting, multiple receivers. And I'll add more to that in a few minutes when I go into a couple other points. But that really is one of my keys to this game. And I really don't see, I'm going to wait. I'm not going to spoil it. Go to the chat, Andy. So after the first point, I like to cheat on myself. I'm sorry. I do. I give everything away. So pressuring the quarterback. Do you think it's going to happen? Do you think the Lions are going to keep Goff clean? Let's see what the chat has to say about it.
Well, Zach says, worry about Montez Sweat. He's there, but I'm not too worried about him. And again, I made the point earlier when I said that if we could hold back Mac and keep Joey Bosa away from him, I don't see why this line's not going to be able to do the same. I mean, you pay attention to Montez Sweat, no doubt about it, but I'm not going to be concerned about one guy, potentially taking down the offensive line. That's just not possible.
I saw one in there about yes on the franchise tag from Mike P. He says, I think there is a problem with Bugs that is in need of some professional help of some kind, but yes on the franchise tag. And I believe what he's talking about there is the Jonah Jackson franchise tag and bringing him in. I don't know what the number is, but I am going to be doing a video here pretty soon that's going to talk about a few of those things. I'm not going to give it away because other creators will take my idea and make the video tomorrow. So I'll wait.
Yeah, do yourself a favor. Wait, Will. The key is Goff isn't getting hurt because the O-line healthy is so good. Well, that just makes the point that Will's been talking about and that I mentioned. We have nothing to worry about with Goff getting hurt.
Man, you better knock on some wood.
All right. I'll knock on some wood right here, buddy. Knock on my own head. Gonna throw this one there. Our buddy Mike Miller, 9-2 after the holidays break is huge. I'm worried about playing these top teams defensively.
Which top teams?
If we're talking the Cowboys.
The Cowboys, yeah. I mean, the Broncos can be scary. It just depends on which Broncos team shows up. I hate to say it. I mean, they're not the greatest of teams this season, but that's still Russell Wilson. And you just don't know. You just don't know, who's going to show up that day. And if you look at what the Lions did last season, anybody could show up in the second half of a season. All it takes is 1 win and then 2 wins and then 3 wins. And the next thing you know, you're going from 1-6 to 9-8 and almost in the playoffs. So anything can be done because we've done it. So I guess I see what Mike's saying, I guess is the point.
Sorry, I didn't mean to butt in, buddy. I thought you were done.
No, you're good.
Answer 14. Lions offense has so many weapons, it's a matchup nightmare. We will keep Goff clean in pocket and torch the Bears. Will, I'd have to say, I think everyone's in agreement with you and me that we have nothing to worry about offensively, and we have no reason to believe that Goff's really going to have any trouble tomorrow. I don't mean to jump ahead here, but if I'm being generous, maybe they get some pressure on him. I don't actually see them getting a sack on Goff. I just think our O-line is too tough.
I like Brent's comment in there about 3.2 yards a rush that the Bears are giving up.
I was going to post that one next, buddy. Yeah, Brent Dewitt said, heard the Bears were only giving up 3.2 yards per rush. That number will be going up because of our offensive line.
Yeah, I'm not real concerned about what this Bears defense has done yet. And I'll tell you why in just a few moments. But right now, my point number 2 for the Bears, and this is their keys to the game, not the Lions, is containing the Lions' ground game. I mean, I think it's a no-brainer, right? But the marquee matchup tomorrow in the NFC North clash, at least on paper, features the Bears' number 2 ranked run defense versus the Lions' number 4 rushing attack. Chicago's run defense was 18th after week 4, but their stats have skyrocketed up the rankings, allowing only 29, 46, 39, 54, 87, and 43 yards on the ground in the last 6 games. That's insanely good. I mean, that's like what the Lions jumped out to do, to start the season. So in Detroit, I mean, look, the unit will face a dynamic running back, right? I mean, Chicago's coming in to face Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, who, oh, by the way, have combined to rush for 977 yards, with David Montgomery missing 3 games. And Jahmyr Gibbs, I believe, has at least missed 1 game this season, maybe 2. I think only 1. And by the way, before I go further, I did the math. If you go look at Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery's numbers, do the division, right? Just take yards per game, multiply it by, 9 games or 10 games. They would be leading the entire NFL 1-2. If they just had an average game, they would be 1-2 over the entire league, ahead of Christian McCaffrey and everybody else. And I just found that a little awe-inspiring that, man, if David Montgomery just didn't get hurt, how many more yards would this guy have? And if Jahmyr Gibbs didn't get his opportunity, maybe he wouldn't be where he is. So everything happens for a reason, and that's okay. All right, so back to what I was saying. They're going to have to come into Detroit and face this dynamic duo who I nicknamed the One Pride Express. And look, they got 977 yards, 11 TDs on 196 carries so far through the season for Montgomery. Montgomery is 106 carries, 501 yards, 7 TDs. And Gibbs is 90 carries, 476 yards, and 4 TDs. Montgomery, who signed with the Lions this year after spending his first 4 seasons with the Bears, leads all NFL rushers with an average of 83.5 yards per game. Gibbs, meanwhile, tops all NFL running backs since week 7 with 427 yards from scrimmage, including 3 straight outings with at least 100 yards. So back to Brent's stat of 3.2 per game. This is why I don't care what the Bears have done. But it goes a little deeper. Let me see if I can find it real quick. It goes a little deeper.
I know it's a very biased statement, but we truly do have one of the, I'd say, if not the best, one of the absolute top running back duos in the league. Gibbs and Montgomery are just explosive.
Dude, I'd stamp them number 1. And I know it's biased too, like you say, but I don't see another tandem in the league. I mean, you could make a case for Herbert and Foreman, and all them on the Bears, but they just haven't done it yet. I mean, they've had some good games. And I can't find what I did with the stat that was kind of going along with this. But the point that I was going to make is when you go and look at the teams that, the Bears have gone up against, okay, and why their rushing stats on defense are what they are. Go look at the teams and the offenses they went up against. Now, the argument to that is they're going to, the Lions played those same teams too, or a large majority of them. So what are you saying about the Lions? Well, when you look at the Lions, we've got a winning record, number one, and our stats are way better. Yep. So when I look at what the Bears have gone up against, that's why I'm not worried. They've gone up against some good teams, and they've completely shit the bed and failed. So if you can't beat any good teams and you're wiping out the crap teams, I think that speaks volumes to what kind of team you are. You're just an average team that's going to take advantage of a good opportunity. That's it. There's nothing wrong with that. You just can't beat the good teams.
Yeah, I can already think of one team. You already know where I'm going with that one, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So the last major point that I had for the Bears, and this is kind of a short point because I have yet to see anything out of this guy that really impresses me, is Justin Fields. So let's just assume that he is suiting up tomorrow, which he's supposed to be. The Bears really need to see, and for them to be successful, they need to see Fields become a pocket passer tomorrow in this game, at least in this game. They can't just rely on his legs. I feel like the Lions are finally going to be ready for his legs. I know I said it. The mobile quarterbacks kill us. It's our Achilles heel. Every time we go up against one, we get sliced and diced, and they get, massive yards on us and broken plays and everything else, yada, yada. You've seen it. So have I. But I think our Lions are going to be ready tomorrow. And I feel that way because I think enough is enough. And they're going to be ready to shut him down and force him to throw. Who the hell is he going to throw to? DJ Moore? Okay. Who else? Who else are you going to throw to? I don't see you. They got rid of Chase Claypool. No. Who else are you going to throw to on that Bears team? So when I look at this and the way that it's shaping up, I'm looking at it like the Bears are highly one-dimensional. And I'm not saying that they're not going to throw to Aquinius or whatever his name is. I can never say his name. St. Brown's brother. I'm not going to say that Equinemius, there we go, that they're not going to throw to other players on the team. I just don't see anybody, that the Lions really need to worry about. Maybe I'm wrong. Look at the chat. Tell me if is there anybody in there saying that there's some Bears wide receivers that we should really worry about outside the Brown or more?
Fields' outlet is K-Met. Seeing a lot of K-Met. And
Cole
Zach's
Kmet,
is saying
Cole Kmet's, a decent tight end, but he's not a wide receiver. I'm just talking about the wide receivers right now.
Well, I think that's maybe what people are getting at is that's really only Justin Fields' option. And
Which
Kmet
is
like
the option because the Lions, they don't do the best against tight ends.
Yeah, and that's majority of the chat right now is people saying Kmet, and the other one they got, St. Brown, laugh out loud. Okay. And then Zach said Mooney. I got Mooney. So
Mooney.
Will, it's to your point though. It's okay. Just bottom line. Look at
Mooney. Mooney's got one touchdown for the whole season, by the way.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Just judging by what everyone's telling me in the chat. You look at Goff, what he's got to throw to versus what Justin Fields' options are. I don't think it's going to be a good day for Fields. And unless he wants to start running for his life again.
Night and day difference.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the Bears receivers since I didn't expand upon this a whole lot. Let me expand upon it. When I look at the Bears receivers, you got DJ Moore. He's got 5 TDs, 793 yards, 52 balls. He's clearly the number one. There's a reason why they paid out the ass for him. He is a good receiver, but he is the only receiver that is worth, being a number one, I guess, that you would have to worry about. Darnell Mooney, he can be a good guy, to throw to every once in a while, but I've never seen him truly have that major breakout game and then stay consistent. So he's got 1 TD, 22 catches, 321 yards. Now, I would love to have that for JMO right now. I would be ecstatic if we had that for JMO. So I have to be careful with what I say, right? Because we have a couple of guys that haven't done a whole lot, like DPJ and JMO just don't have the stats yet. But DPJ just joined the team too. So between Mooney and then Equinemius St. Brown, who is the number 2, he's got no TDs, 2 catches, and 25 yards on the entire season. I mean, what a 180 between his brother and him, right? I mean, how does your brother, shorter, smaller kid, well, I guess he was picked earlier, and I guess, earlier in the draft. Equinemius was a 6th-round pick. But he goes straight ball and becomes a number 1 wide receiver for the Detroit Lions. I mean, Equinemius has the size, 6'5", 214. I wonder if he'll ever get a chance to join St. Brown on the Lions. I wonder if that could ever happen.
That'd
be if the Lions would even want him. And then you got Tyler Scott. And again, no touchdowns, 9 balls, 77 yards. So when I look at this, Badgett did a pretty good job while he was in being a pocket passer. And that's why they were winning games. He went 2 for 2.
Right.
When Fields was in, what did he go? 1 for 4 or 1 and 3? So Badgett came in to be a pocket passer who could also move with his legs. And they had more success. And that's why I said, look, Fields got to come in tomorrow and be a pocket passer for them to have any sort of success. Otherwise, pack it up because you ain't running on us. And Fields, you ain't running on us either. So let's go to the chat, and then we're going to go into the Lions keys. You go ahead.
The Rona 99. Yeah, the Rona 99. Fields may look to throw under pressure. Interceptions. Mike M. Jamison breaks one tomorrow on the verge, and this is the right opponent for it to happen. I agree. It'd be nice to see JMO break out, and against a mediocre team would be nice. But then my caveat to that would be when he goes up against a good team, is he going to perform the same way? And I'm sorry again, everybody. I don't mean to be negative about JMO again. That's just, again, like I said, where we're at. The Rona 99 wide receivers will be covered. He will look to K-Met under pressure. See, well, that name K-Met seems to be the majority one that everyone seems to think is Justin Fields' really only option out there. Fields may be in for a long day. Yeah, I agree.
I'm going to ask a question on this real quick. What is this? $2 from D. James ZW. Does that mean that he sent us $2? I've never done a super chat or a... Yeah, I don't even know how that stuff works, but if you did, we really appreciate it. You would be the first one ever, and because if you truly did that, and because you are the first one, you're going to get a grill cover.
Yes.
So
and
I'll have to check on that later. Can we screenshot that so we don't lose this guy's info?
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. Again, I don't know anything about those. I don't really ask for that stuff. Trust me, we'd love to have some help, but that's just not what we're all about right now. We're about having fun. We're about the Detroit Lions. We're just trying to get you guys some information and grow our channel. And all the other stuff will come. It'll come when it comes. That's okay. So Lions keys, unless you want to get into some more, I feel like maybe we should do a few more chats here.
Yeah, I think we should too. There's quite a bit. We got a lot of good communication today from everybody. As for another factor is how we relentlessly hit opponents and wear them out. First time I ever seen a Lions team so dominant in the fourth quarter, wire to wire punching you in the mouth. That's a great point. It's all K-Met. A lot of this is K-Met.
K-Met's, on my list for Detroit as far as our keys. But K-Met, man, he's dangerous. He's like an unassuming Brock Wright size that has Sam Laporta tendencies. Nowhere near a Sam Laporta, but he does have some agility about him. I don't know how to blend the two, but if you were to blend the two, he's nowhere near a Sam Laporta, but you get what I'm saying. He's got some skill,
right?
And he can hurt you.
Will, I had to throw this one up there because of the chat you were wondering about with D James. The Ronin99 said, wow, I'm impressed that you didn't know about donations, with a thumbs up.
Yeah, so it's just not what we're really all about. I mean, we will make, our revenue somehow, but this channel is really about the fans. It's about the Lions. It's about having fun, and what we're trying to build now and for the future. We're banking on the future, and I don't want to pound everybody in here every day to say, hey, please donate here, please donate there. I would much rather just have you subscribe and watch a ad for 3 seconds than to send me $1 or $2 or 20 or 100 or whatever. We give more money away than we bring in, and that's because we're all about you, and we're trying to grow this to be something fun. And I do have a special announcement tonight too. So I might as well roll with it now, if you don't mind, Andy.
I was just going to piggyback your point real quick, Will, and just say, everybody, we appreciate the people that come on every time we come on and comment and chat. And we have now the option. We're having people call in when we do live. Will and I, we're not about money right now. We're fans doing this for the fans. We're no different than you guys out there in listener land. We like to expand. We like to have fun. And even where we're at now, we can't do this without you guys. So, again, like a $2 donation is great, but we're about you guys making everybody here informed and try to have a good time. So there you go, Will. That's our thank you to everybody.
There you go. So I had a conversation with another channel, and I'm not going to mention the channel right now just because I didn't talk to him about this before I jumped in today. Meaning I didn't say I was going to tell everybody, but I am putting together a first time annual Detroit Lions cruise where all of the fans of the Detroit Lions are going to be able to get in on this. We're putting it together with a travel agent. We're going to do a Detroit Lions group cruise. It's never been done before. I've never seen anybody do it before. And what I want to do is get fans together for a midsummer cruise, whether it's a 4-night or a 5-night somewhere in the Bahamas, Miami, and just do, something fun. And, you wear your Lions gear. We'll do the podcast from the cruise ship, and we're just going to have an eventful, 4 or 5 nights together. You get to meet, fellow Lions fans from around the world, and you might make some lifelong friendships out of it. Who knows? But I've never seen it done before. So I am putting it together. I started about a week and a half ago, and we should have some numbers back pretty soon and a way to get it out to everybody so you can sign up. We don't handle the money. It'll all go straight to, the agent that handles it all. And I think we'll start probably in January where you'll be able to start sending in, like deposits and stuff to them. But more information will follow. I just wanted to release this tonight because it's the first time anyone's ever done it. And you guys are all invited. Obviously, you have to pay your own way, but you're all invited. So we'll get as many cabins as we can.
Wow, Will. That's
Look at Zach. He said, so wait, the donation money goes towards the subscribers getting a free cruise? Man. Yeah, I wish.
Will did make the comment that we're building this organically and doing it for you guys. I mean, come on.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, it's all about, this is the first time the Lions have done something in my lifetime to be proud about. And I want to go the extra mile to make sure that we cement this in history and that we have some fun with it, because I think for once that we're actually building something that's not going to crumble in the next 12 to 24 months. I think that we have something that has a good foundation that these Lions, are going to build upon. And we're going to be right here along with them to support them. Who knows? Maybe we'll get lucky and we'll get someone from the Lions to join the cruise. Who knows? We'll see.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
We'll see.
Will, I gotta actually give a shout out to the Ronin99. I'm a 66-year-old Lions fan fighting prostate cancer. I appreciate your efforts. Ronin99, right here. Good luck with the battle.
My heart's out to you, my friend. I don't know how long you've been watching us, but I just beat thyroid cancer this year, and my lady's still battling, her stuff every day, and it's not easy. It wasn't easy to come back and talk and do a podcast and rebuild all the vocal cords, and I still struggle with it some days. So that's a tough one, man. But our heart's with you, my friend. And Andy,
Absolutely,
you can always share
buddy.
whatever you want to share too. So
Yeah, well, and Ronan, that'll make the three of us now here, because just make it real brief. On top of the fact that I'm recovered from a stroke, I just got diagnosed with squamous cell cancer in my neck. And I'm going to start going through all the process that I have to go through to try to beat that one. So guess we got a bunch of cancer fighters here. We're all in this together, and we'll all beat it. You will. I know you're still fighting it, and you're going to be fine. And now I'm joining the battle. So we'll all make it through this.
that's right. All right. So Zach says no one giving the DPJ trade anything but a perfect. I think it's perfect. I'm ready to see where we go with it, man. To be honest with you, I really am. All right, so I'm going to roll into some Lions keys. And number one on my list is winning the turnover battle. The Lions, we got an interception, I believe, in the last game, right? Or was it the game before? No, it was the last game. Kirby Joseph.
It was, yeah.
So we haven't had a ton of interceptions like we expected this season. We haven't had a ton of sacks like we expected this season. And I'm betting that the Lions are going to be able to drum up a couple of turnovers in this game. So taking care of the football for the Lions obviously has been a top priority. This offense that Goff leads, he leads the team in this category. He went 383 passes without an interception until week 2 versus the Seahawks. Since the start of the 2022 season, Jared Goff has produced a 43-12 touchdown to interception ratio, which is number 1 in the league. On turnover margins through 9 games, the Lions are +1, which is 12th best in the league right now in turnover differential. The Lions have 11 takeaways to their 10 giveaways, which makes them +1. 5 interceptions, 5 fumbles. And as we know, those 5 interceptions kind of came quick, and early in the season. We've had a couple of trickle in here or there, but Goff takes care of the football more than, just about any quarterback in the league. While the Bears through 10 games are -9 in last in the league when it comes to protecting the ball and creating turnovers. The Bears have twice as many giveaways, 18, as they do takeaways, 9, which is 12 interceptions and 6 fumbles. The Bears have actually put the ball on the ground 13 times this season. So Justin Fields hasn't played a game since October 15th. He had 6 interceptions through 6 games to start the season. He threw a pick in all but 1 game and 2 versus the Bucs. The Bears are 3-0 this season when they don't commit a turnover and 0-7 when they do. So Will Rock's lock of the game is I'm expecting the Lions to pick off whoever is in at quarterback tomorrow, whether it's Justin Fields or Badgett. And yes, that means Justin Fields may exit the game. And don't be surprised if the Lions get a defensive score off one of the turnovers. So notice I said score because we could have a fumble returned or an interception returned tomorrow. But I am expecting that the Lions will get at least 1 interception and create 1 turnover. That's my Will Rock lock of the game tomorrow. Andy, what do you got to say about that?
I agree with it. That's going to be that will be the lock, your rock of the game. I think Justin Fields, that's going to be the game just in itself. We contain Fields. I hope he doesn't get injured, but he's just going to have to use his legs too much. And I think as soon as we contain Fields, that game's over. The game's going to be over. I think the game's going to be over before it even starts, to be quite honest with you. I think that defense is going to push through that line. And when they can get to Fields, That would be my hit for the game right there, is just getting to Fields.
Hey, real quick, D. James ZW, who was the one that sent us $2, much appreciated. He says that he is a disabled Army vet. So look, man, don't salute us, brother. It's all on you. And thank you for doing whatever you've done to serve this country. And look, my hat's always off to you, my friend.
Always.
You're the real heroes in this country. So appreciate you. Really do. In more ways than one. All right. So look, it's simple to me tomorrow. The Lions protect the ball and they take the ball away. As long as they do that, they win this game. I think Fields is ripe for the picking tomorrow, and we're going to take it. I think that one of these guys is going to score off of it. And I think it's going to be early in the game. Like you said, Andy, it's going to be over before it starts.
Yeah.
My second biggest key for the Lions is obviously stopping the run. So that is the Bears' biggest element to their game, is they're getting Fields back, who we know has legs, but they're also getting, they've got Herbert and Foreman going in tomorrow. They can run. I mean, look at what happened in the Carolina game last season. We got our butts kicked, and those guys are responsible for it. So we're not going to let that happen again. The Bears, no doubt, will, again, rely on the rushing attack that ranks 5th right now in the NFL and has produced at least 133 yards in 6 of the last 7 games. Running back Khalil Herbert is expected to return after missing the last 5 games with an ankle injury, and Deonta Foreman, who excelled in Herbert's place, has rushed for at least 80 yards in 3 of the last 4 games. But the veteran is listed as questionable for Sunday's game with an ankle injury, which should give Herbert the majority of the carries. Here's a huge stat, in my opinion. The Lions have allowed a league low of 37 explosive plays, which are runs of 10 plus or passes of 20 plus. Now, I know what you're saying. How is that possible? I didn't believe it either. When I'm watching the games and you're seeing these guys get these wild throws over the middle all day long, wide open, it seems like we're giving up these big plays, consistently. Apparently, my eyes are deceiving me. But I feel like this is huge when you consider, like all the yards that Allen just put up against us. 175? And he caught multiple balls. And I thought plenty that were close or more than 20 yards. But I'm going to have to go back and look at the stat line again. So the Bears ranked 5th in the NFL in rushing, 5th in the red zone for touchdown percentage, and 7th in third down efficiency. But they ranked 19th in points per game, in part because of their 18 turnovers. So that's a huge stat, in my opinion, that number one, the Lions have only allowed 37 explosive plays the entire season. So that's less than 3.7 big plays a game. This is part of the main reason why I feel like their rankings in the run game and everything else is purely based on fraud. They were reminding me of the Vikings from last year. And I'm nowhere near the Vikings as far as how good they were or their record, just the stats alone, right? Mm-hmm. And if you're 5th in the NFL in rushing, you would be a pretty darn good team, you would think, because if you can run, you should be able to pass. And if you can run, you should be able to milk the clock and win some ball games. But the defenses the Bears have faced may be the biggest reason why their running game has had some success. They have faced 4 of the bottom 7 defenses against the run. And I know what you're about to say, but will the Lions face the same teams or already have faced the same teams? The difference is the Lions have been consistent. The difference is the Lions are 7-2. The difference is the Lions can pass to 6 different receivers in a game and a tight end.
Right.
That's the difference. But the Broncos, 32nd in ranked yards per game. The Bears had 171 yards in that game. Herbert went for 103. Everyone else below 25 yards. The Raiders, 29th rank in yards per game. The Bears put up 173. What did we put up that game? Like close to two something? on the ground versus the Raiders? I can't remember now. It was a lot.
I think so.
The Raiders game, Foreman went for 89. Evans went for 48, who was just cut or traded or something, not traded. He was just released. Evans was just released. And then Badgett went for 24 on the ground. The Packers, they ranked 27th in yards per game. Rushing yards per game allowed, that is. Fields went for 59 that game. Herbert went for 27. Everybody else went below 20 yards that game. Panthers, 26th in yards per game. So you see where I'm going here. They had all of these big games against garbage teams. And when they went up against the Chargers, who are ranked 11th, which we crushed them, which again, there's the difference. The Bears only went for 73 yards. When they went up against the Bucs, who was ranked 6th, they only put up 67 yards. Whereas the Lions, I mean, we played very well against both those teams. So before I get into my last couple, do we want to take a call, Andy? Let's open up the phone lines.
Let's open up the phone lines, and I'm going to give another shout out real quick to D. James ZW. Rock on and Lions Syndicate, the best Detroit Lions perspectives, 100% all the way across. D. James, that means a lot to us. Thank you very much for that. And yes, Lions Syndicate, he's awesome. No doubt about it there.
Andy, why don't you take over for just a second?
I got you. All right, everyone. Once again, always thanks very much for joining us tonight. Love everyone having everyone here on a beautiful Saturday night. Well, I don't know how the weather is out in Michigan because I don't know if everyone knows. I actually am in Arizona where I do this. Weather here is beautiful. I hope it's the same out in Michigan or anywhere in the greater Detroit area. This one came up here. I just wanted to reiterate, Lauren, thanks for joining us. Chicago is near the basement in team ranking turnovers, penalties. They are number 2 defense against run yards per game, but 26th against the pass. No offense to Bears fans. No offense to Bears fans, but coaching isn't there. I agree. If you're a Bears fan, you should have zero confidence in Mr. Eberflus, because I know I wouldn't. He's a god-awful coach. Zax, I love your communication tonight, Zax. Thanks a lot for the content. I don't think we will win by over 10 points because we would just try to run the clock and win and go home. I'm good with that. I'm completely good with that. Mike M, let's just win and walk away without any significant injuries tomorrow. That's a given, especially against a divisional opponent. And with the fact that 3 days later we have Green Bay on Thanksgiving. So, yes, no major injuries. Mike P, welcome in. The thing that could be concerning is just one receiver almost did us in the last week. Could it happen again? Just asking. Chicago does have one very good receiver as well. Yeah, pretty much. Kmet, who's, I guess, from what I understand from Will, is a tight end. So that's really their only option. He's a very good receiver, tight end. And Zax, they're going to just score touchdowns, I feel. Well, could be. And Mike M. Montgomery's licking his chops to rub it in the Bears' face tomorrow. Well, he will be. He'll be doing it. And that's the one advantage I believe we're going to have in this game is that Montgomery, he is familiar with this team. So he's already going to let that offense know or that defense know about, Fields' disadvantages, not the other quarterback, but especially Fields. I think we've definitely got this wrapped up. And Bill Collier, it was sunny but chilly in the 40s an hour north of Detroit. Oh, not to rub it in, but a typical winter day in Arizona here in the Phoenix area is 60s, low 70s. Pretty nice. And the Ronin 99, could we get another coach fired? Well, I don't know. Josh McDaniels, he's god-awful no matter what. So I was glad to see another disciple of Bill Belichick get aced. So that was fine by me. Eberflus could get fired. Who knows? Tyler Sargent, welcome in. Montgomery over 100 yards rushing in this game. I wouldn't be surprised. In fact, something that Will and I talked about once was maybe you get a tandem duo like we have to both have 100-yard games. Maybe we could see Gibbs and Montgomery each have a 100-yard rushing game tomorrow. That'd be phenomenal. You want to really bury it? They both have 100-yard games, and they both score 2 touchdowns apiece. Fantasy, but boy, that would be amazing. And I'm going to get one more in here.
Andy, give me 1 second, and then I got someone that's going to come on as a special guest here in just a minute, so you'll see him pop in the waiting room.
Okay.
And then I'll bring him in, but just give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
You got it. So we got a special guest coming in. Awesome. So everyone, you're stuck with me for a few minutes. I'm sorry. So I'm just going to go a little off topic here, a little off tangent of what we're doing in the pre-show. But once again, guys, just a quick reminder. How about our Detroit Lions this year? I never thought. I've been a Lions fan for all my life. I'm 42. And my mom brought me up a Lions fan. And the one thing I just can tell you is I've just never, ever thought I would see a season go in the direction that it's been going this year. I know we've had a few seasons where things have looked promising. Yeah, I know 2015 we looked good. 2013 we had number 1 defense in the league. I just, it's the first time where this team looks real. I mean, it looks like it doesn't look like it's pixie dust, basically. It really just looks like a great season unfolding for us. I can't remember who made the comment in the chat, but, maybe potentially being 9-2 after Thanksgiving. When's the last time we could say that we had this kind of promise to go that kind of distance right now? I don't know. I'm loving it, everybody. Hey, Will.
All right, I'm back in, and I love that comment by Taylor Made Media. Campbell kept saying and told his squad to watch tape on the Bears. And you're exactly right, man. Complacency is what kills teams. And when you're riding this type of a high and you're playing this well, that's what can bring you down in a hurry. I, for one, do not believe that this Detroit Lions squad will ever get complacent. They have come from such humble roots for so long that it's now time for them to realize their success and stay with it and stick with it. And I think they will. All right, we got someone coming in here in just a moment. Once his screen gets set up, and then we'll bring him in. All right. So where'd you leave off, Andy? I didn't hear much.
Honestly, Will, I was just while waiting for you and trying to go through some chats. I also just did a little bit of crowd pumping, I guess you could say, letting everyone know that, how excited we should be that the season's going in the direction that it is. I just think it's amazing.
So Lauren McQuaig says trading the number 2 pick Claypool and 1.5 years later moving him for a number 6, not resigning Montgomery, giving up the number 1 overall, some GM choices. Well, I would be frustrated as a Bears fan. You know what it sounds like to me? It sounds like what we used to be as Lions fans, to be honest with you. All right, so we got a special guest in. It's somebody that you know. And it's somebody who's also partnering up on the Detroit Lions group cruise, and his name is none other than Lions Syndicate. Derek Fields, what's happening, brother? How are you?
What's up, Andy? Good to see you,
What's up, Derek? How you doing, buddy?
I'm all right, man. How are you?
I'm great, man. Great seeing you.
You too.
Everybody have good audio?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Awesome.
Yeah, is that a Lions like helium balloon behind you, bro? Like,
this is actually, it's a metal framed thing I found actually when I was on vacation in Rocky Point earlier this year. We were cruising through one of the little shop areas, and my wife actually saw that, and she was like, "Here, I'll buy this for you."
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I don't want to mess up the show, guys, because y'all very. I'm kind of off the cuff. I'm more off the cuff than anything else. So see what I did. See what I said. See what I did there, man. But yeah, I wanted to talk to you guys about, because I saw somebody mention it about the JJ Watt stuff, man. We got to talk about it. What are we doing with JJ Watt, man? What do you think we're doing?
So I haven't done any research on it, but I don't think it's even a possibility. Like where's all this stuff coming from in these sources? From this Lions guy, that's saying that he's got these sources now. If it happens, it happens. But I tried to look up his contract just a minute ago. And I'm still seeing where he's under contract for 23. So I don't know how it's even possible.
Okay.
Did you look at his contract yet?
I didn't. When I talked to you and we talked about it, I didn't even pull it up. So yeah.
I'm going to pull it up on Over the Cap real quick and see if I get anything different.
Andy, I see you with the hair too, man. Nice and nice and fluffy and dark. I see you, man.
No shave November, my friend. Why not?
That's right. That is correct. Yep. I forgot about that. Yeah.
I usually just have the goatee going, but I just was kind of it's that laziness factor too.
It's nice, man. Keep it up, bro. Keep it up, man.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Yeah.
So, Derek, what do you think is? What do you think's really spilling here? I mean, do you think anything's going to happen with JJ Watt? Do you think it's even possible? Can the Lions even afford him?
Okay, $7 million-ish in cap space right now. You're talking about if he came football shape, how many games would he play? Assuming we could get him, I'm going to say if we pay under, we have to do like $2-3 million for the rest, and that's a lot for like less than half a season. So
yeah,
that's not a lot for Watt though. I mean, what was he making his last year? 28 million.
But he had 12.5 sacks last year. So, you would be paying for that. Would he take a hometown discount? I'm going to say for what we have, I don't know if I pay him exhausted what we have left for cap space to bring in JJ Watt.
Look, I mean, look, if it was $5 million, I'd bring him in just because it's JJ Watt and he could teach Aiden Hutchinson a lot. I would pay that just for the education he could give Aiden. You know what I mean? Like that's worth it to me.
Yeah. In 5 games, 5 or 6 games though?
Well, I mean, you hope more, but yeah. So now that I'm looking at this on Over the Cap, Spotrac a little bit different. Over the Cap says that his SFA contract was terminated on June 1st. He had a 2-year deal that was signed in 2021, which would have put him through this season.
Okay,
but it says it was terminated on June 1. So did they actually release him?
What does that sound like to y'all? That sounds like he was released, right?
That sounds like he's open game.
I just don't know what it means because status says June 1 terminated. Year sign says 21 for 2 years. So that'd be 21, 22, 22, 23. Maybe he's free.
You know what? I think he's free, bro. I think he is free because they were hamming it up on Pat McAfee like he had a choice. And I mean, why would they do that if he didn't have a choice? You know what I mean?
Why was he being talked about on Pat McAfee though?
Well, he was on as a guest, and that's where all these rumors came from. They came from him being on Pat McAfee and them trying to kind of gaslight him into coming back and wanting to play. And that's where the whole thing, he said that JJ Watt said that there were fans in his mentions asking him to come, and they were Detroit Lions fans, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, and stuff like that. But that's where all of this kind of started from, where the embers of this JJ Watt out of retirement came from.
There must have been the sources, right? The Pat McAfee show must have been the sources.
Hey, no comment. No comment, Will. I'm in enough drama on this platform. No comment.
Oh, I know. I try to keep it PC as much as I can. It's just, for me, I'm not going to get all riled up about it until I actually see something credible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll talk about it. It's fun to talk about. You know how we do with videos. We like to envision the what could be's, and if it would have been, then how exciting it could be. I mean, that's the part of being a Lions fan or any fan, Yeah.
So, I mean, if we could get him here, I don't think it's going to happen, guys. I really don't. I mean, he's not in football shape. He's comfortable being at home. He got a maybe a 2-year-old or something like that, less than, a young child. And he would have to come back to a team that he was sure could win the Super Bowl. And I just don't know if he thinks the Lions are that team. Maybe the Eagles, the Chiefs, something like that. But I mean, we have the Niners to get through, the Eagles to get through. We got those teams to get through. Does he think that we can get through them? I mean, if he does and he wants to come back, then hey.
So
yeah,
you're in the pregame show for the breaking it down. And I kind of went through my keys already. I mean, there were some other things I wanted to go into, but do you have any certain keys, offense, defense, for tomorrow that you feel like the Lions really need to pay attention to?
You're me. I just got one, bro. I just got one. There's a guy, he hasn't played in over a month. His name is Justin Fields, and we just got to make him pass the ball. That's it, bro. I feel like a lot like when it comes to Lamar Jackson. I'm not very confident in his skills. And Justin Fields, we have the same last name, so I was hoping he was better. Obviously, unless he plays us. But I don't think. I know this sounds very Homer of me, but I feel like the keys is to stop him. If you go back to the two games we played, right? The one in Chicago last year and the one at home, what was the common denominator? Was him running. It was him running. Mm-hmm. I mean, you had the Cole Kmet, he was wide open, but our defense was trash last year. It was horrendous. So for me, bro, I mean, it's very simple. If Justin Fields has to pass, I really think we beat them. Like, that's it. I think we get, like you said, we get takeaways, we gonna get some fumbles, all of that stuff. I feel it could even be a big game if Mr. Martin plays. I mean, who knows with the bug situation. So my key, bro, is just one. Stop Justin Fields with his legs, and that's a dub, man. That is a dub.
I think so too. Andy, you in agreement with that one?
Yeah, it's Derek, you said it best. That's been kind of the Achilles heel for us, is stopping the mobile quarterbacks. And I think we've all agreed if we keep Justin Fields in the pocket, forcing him to pass, and we can contain him from running, that would be my biggest key to this game, because every other base is covered. The offensive line, the defense. I'm not worried about anything with this team. It's just keeping Justin Fields in a box, basically. Don't let him run.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So I released some other news and told everybody that I've been working on this travel agent. And so Derek and I had a conversation about a week ago, coming up with this wild idea that how great would it be to get a lot of Lions fans on a cruise that have never met each other and just go cruise around and have fun wearing Lions gear, for the next 4 or 5 days, and just have a blast and just kind of celebrate, where we are now as fans, create some sort of an annual memory, and build some lifelong relationships. So Derek, are you excited about this opportunity? Hopefully we can get it to come to fruition. That's the biggest challenge, is getting enough people to get on board, truly get on board. But how great would it be for us to do something like this?
It would be great. It really would. And it came about because I was telling Will, Andy, I was telling him how like I need to take a vacation in July, like because this thing doesn't stop. Like when you make content about the Lions, you would think that there's, actually it ramps up when there's no games. Like you got the draft, and then the draft will be here in Detroit. And I was telling Will, I was like, man, I'm shutting the YouTube channel down in July for maybe a week or two. And I was like, I need to take an official vacation. And then he kind of came up with this, and I was like, man, that would be fantastic. So he kind of took the reins and making some plans. And if this thing can get off the ground, I think it could be big for all of us, man. Kind of get to know each other and really embrace what this team is starting to do. Because when the Lions are winning, we're happy. We are all in better moods, man, when they are winning. So this would be great if this comes to pass, man. It really would.
Oh, well, we're going to work hard on it. We're definitely going to try to get it, get the best prices for everybody and the best accommodations and make it the best time. But hey, even if we get 10 people to go the first go around, that's a win.
That's a win. Absolutely. I agree.
That's a win.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What else you want to share about tomorrow, man? What are you excited to see about tomorrow as far as the offense? I mean, do you think that Jameer and Monty are going to be able to run wild on this defense? I guess
I know that the Bears have the number 2 defense. Yep. They got like run defense. They got the number. Yeah. So, but I think that David feeling some type of way, fellas, and I know what it's like to feel some type of way with people you used to rock with, right? So I feel like David is going to go off. I feel like Goff is going to have a great day because they are terrible against the pass. And I think that the Detroit Lions are going to show off in front of that home crowd, and they're going to stuff it down the Bears' throat. And Justin better be careful, because with the right hit, he goes down the wrong way, man, he could be back on the sideline, and we're seeing Mr. Bajan again. So I think the Lions, man, are going, and it's not cockiness. This is just confidence. I finally get a chance to be confident in my team, and I feel like this is like the Carolina game where it was like Carolina had no business being in that game, and they really weren't. And I think the Bears is going to be the same way. We just got to keep Justin Fields in the pocket, make him throw. And the thing about those guys, man, those quarterbacks, they get hurt. We saw it last year. He ran that big old 70-something yard run, and when we caught up to him, we made him pay. His hip was injured, and he was never the same. And then he eventually got pulled out that second half. So, man, my thing is I think it's going to be a big day for the Lions offense, a big day for the defense, and I think we need it because Aaron Glenn, that was a turd last week, and I'm sorry. It really was, and I know Justin's a good quarterback, but you can't give up 38 points, and you don't win those games usually. But thankfully, our offense was good enough to win those games. So I think it's going to be a big game for both sides of the ball, fellas.
So I seen a couple comments in here, and I wholly agree with you with that whole statement that you just made. So it sounds like, where'd it go? Where'd it go? There was one just up there that said something about the Cruise. He needed to get a new jersey. He was thinking about a Spielman jersey. So it sounds like we got some people interested.
Here you go, Will.
Yeah, this one, answer 14. He says, got to have a new jersey for the Cruise. I'm thinking a Spielman throwback or a Lomas Brown. I already got a Barry. Love it. So in Zach's, to answer your statement there about only having 10 people, hey, if I only had 10 people show up on a cruise ship, that's like 10 rooms. So 10 rooms, 20 to 30 to 40 people. I think that would be spectacular, but we're trying to do 50 rooms and grow it to 100 plus people, 100, 50 couples, but we'll see. I mean, it's not for everybody, and we'll see if it works. I'm not getting on a boat by water with these two.
Made in Detroit. Wife, that's great.
My wife said the same thing, and now she wants to go. She was saying the same exact thing about, and I was like, man, it's all right. So yeah, but I get you. I get you.
Well, yeah.
Oh, we'll Vincent Mann said, I want a Rocked On Syndicate jersey.
There we go.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good name. I like it.
I love it.
I liked it. I do too. I like it a lot. Man. Oh my God.
Well, I'll tell you what, where we at on the hour mark here? We're an hour and 22 in. I only had two more quick points on the Lions. So look, we've got to run to pass. The offense needs to establish the ground game early, just like any game. We've got to run to set up the play action and limit the outside edge rush. I think that is our biggest component tomorrow. Look, I'm excited to see what our bookends get to do again. But I want to say my biggest factor in this whole game is what we saw last game, Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson mixed it up very well last week against the Chargers. So well that we went into a shootout and we stuck with it. So tomorrow, Ben's got to do it again. He's got to get creative around this Chicago pass rush and run defense and torch those cornerbacks that aren't going to be able to keep up. I think DPJ has a pretty good game. And if I were to go into my, players of the game and who I feel like could have a pretty decent game, it's kind of simple. Sam Laporta. I think the Bears are giving up, some of the biggest plays to tight ends all season long. Albeit, this was before the Montez Sweat edition. I'm not really concerned about him in the Laporta factor because he would be on a linebacker at this point. So I see Sam putting up 5 for 60 tomorrow in a TD. And if you go and look at the tight ends that went up against Chicago, I mean, they're averaging about 50 yards a game. So if Sam can't get 60 in a TD tomorrow, I'd be really surprised. So I'm going to stamp that as my second Will Rocks lock of the game, that Sam gets 60 in a TD. And if you bet it and lose, it's not my problem. Number 2 is I don't see a specific Lions receiver having a great game tomorrow. And you know why? Because of what everyone was saying earlier that I'm in agreement with. I think that Goff is going to spread it out to everybody. And that's what I've seen with this Bears defense is you're seeing 4 or 5 receivers getting 40, 50 yards a game. So I don't see why the Lions would do anything different. But I do see Amon-Ra St. Brown going up against his brother He'll get his 100. He always does. Monra will get his 100. But I see everyone else kind of being equal in that, 30, 40, 50-yard range with the potential that DPJ and Jamison Williams might be the breakout candidates tomorrow. They could be. We don't know, but I think one of them could be. And someone earlier in this show had mentioned that they thought DPJ in the end zone was going to be a good target, and I'm wholeheartedly in that boat with him. I think DPJ gets a TD tomorrow. I really do. But it might not happen until like the fourth quarter. We don't know when he's going to get in the game. We don't even know if there's a game plan for him yet. So if he does get in, I think it'll be later in the game. But I think it's someone that's going to sneak up on the Bears and grab one. Derek, what do you got to say on any of that, man? Do you see any big players for us tomorrow?
I was going to say, you got to give St. Brown his 100, man. I mean, he's unstoppable at this point. So I agree with you there. I think that we could see, I mean, we're all waiting on that breakout Jamison Williams game. We're waiting on it to happen. And I'm just going to say, like, any one of these games could be a breakout JMO game. Tomorrow would be great. Ford Field is going to be ridiculous. I think those tickets were $2-something. So, I mean, I'm sure they got standing room only against the Bears. So I do agree with the DPJ, but it's like, okay, I'm thinking, bro, like 20 plays or so. Like, I just feel like the Lions, they seem like they're slow when they bring people in. They're not in a rush to get people. I mean, Jamison Williams is just now hitting 50% of the offensive snaps. So I'm going to say, I think that one of those guys will definitely have a touchdown tomorrow. I don't know, man. I'm feeling like the Lions are going to feast tomorrow. I feel it. I feel like the entire team is going to have a big game because Monty is not going to let the first person tackle him. He's just not.
He never does.
Yeah, his old team. No. Are you kidding? He's going to try to run through all of those guys because they paid
extra amped up tomorrow.
Yeah, they paid Tremaine Edmonds. They traded for DJ Moore. They did all these things, but I guess he kind of feel like he was unwanted, So I think the whole team has a big game, man. That's just me.
Andy, what do you think tomorrow? Who's our big players of the game for the Lions?
I think it's going to be. I think Goff, honestly, is going to have another 300+ yard game.
Wow.
I'm going to give him a 300+ yard game with 2 touchdown passes. I think of those 2 touchdown passes, I think DPJ is going to be one of them, and Amon-Ra is going to be the other. And just like you guys, Amon-Ra, it's pretty much automatic. You got to give him 100 yards, even with no touchdowns. He's going to get 100+ yards. So I give him 100 yards. And I'll agree with the two of you. I think Monty, he's going to be running with a vengeance tomorrow. I think he's just going to. I'm telling you, I just think he's. When I look at what he did last week, that 75-yard run, I don't want to sit here and say he's going to do that again. But if he does do it again, it's not going to surprise me considering who he's going up against. He's going up against his old team, that defense. I think he's got a chip on his shoulder probably going against his old team. Those are my heavy hitters tomorrow. Oh, yes, and Jahmyr Gibbs. This might be a bold prediction, but I think you're going to see Gibbs and Montgomery both have 100-yard games.
Ooh. Wow. So that's 500 yards on the Bears coming from Andy. So you got 2 TDs in the air. How many points are we scoring tomorrow as a whole? So if you got 2 in the air, that's 14. How many is Monty and Gibbs going to get on the ground?
I think they get 1 apiece.
All right. So you've got 28 points. Any field goals?
I'll say 2. I'll give him 2 field goals. I'm basically giving Chicago. I'm basically complimenting Chicago, saying they might stop them short of the goal line a couple times. I'll go with that.
Andy's got 34. What do you got for the Bears? 34 for the Lion. What do you got for the Bears?
I'll be nice and give the Bears a touchdown.
1 touchdown. Wow. So 34-7 coming from Andy.
I'm saying 34-7.
I'll let you go next because I'm still thinking here.
Well, see, here's the thing you don't know about me, man. I hate score predictions. I think they're dumb. You got
to do it. You gotta just throw the dart. Just throw the dart and pick a number.
Okay.
Even if it's
that's why I think they're dumb. I mean, no offense
what
to
it's
you
all
guys.
about.
It's just like why? Okay. See, I gotta look and see what the Bears put up, and I don't know what their average. Let me see. I think so. I'm not ready. I'm not ready to go right now.
And all right, so look, I'm gonna roll with it. So I think Laporta's gonna get his one, right? And I think Amon-Ra, I think he's gonna get shut out of the end zone tomorrow for some reason. I think he's gonna have a great game. I just think for some reason he's just not gonna get in the end zone because they're gonna try to, spy him, double him or 1.5 him all game long. So Laporta's going to get one. I think Monty is going to get two close TDs on the ground, like less than 5 yards apiece. I don't think the Lions are going to score a bunch of points unless it happens later in the game. Because I think it was going to. I thought it was going to tighten up. When the Lions get up big, quick, tightens up towards the fourth quarter, and the Lions are throwing a bunch of balls and running a bunch of balls to their second fiddle guys. So where I was going with this is I'm going to go the Lions 37-13. They're going to have a big day. 37-13. But those 13 points for the Bears are probably going to come in like the third quarter. I think they shut them out in the first half. I really do.
Okay.
Your turn, Derek.
Okay. So here's what I think. I think tomorrow the Lions get rid of their third quarter offensive woes. I think they come out, and I agree with you about St. Brown maybe staying out of the end zone because he doesn't score a ton, but he does everything in between.
Right.
I think that I agree that I think Monty eats the most. So I'm gonna put it back in the 30s. I'm gonna say it's 30 something to under 17. I mean, because it really depends on Aaron. How is Aaron Glenn going to defend Justin Fields and make him throw that football? Then when you do is we don't have a Mike Hughes in the secondary, which he was okay, but we have there can't be any wide open passes like last year. He was wide open. Cole Kmet was open, but Justin Fields is the key. So we stop him, bunch of 3 and outs. He hasn't played real speed football in over a month. Make him turn the ball over, have him fumble. So I think it's just going to be a real ugly day from the Bears, man. They are a bad team. They've been bad for a few years now, and I don't think they're going to be any better with Justin Fields. So I'm going to say 30-something to 17, and it won't be more than 20 points for the Bears.
So none of us are buying the Chicago Bears hype that it's a potential trap game, that the Lions are going to overlook it. What I'm really hoping tomorrow is they get in, strike fast, they get out, they rest their players. See, I wasn't on the bandwagon of Monty getting a bunch of yards because I expect Craig Reynolds to get a lot of action in the fourth quarter. I think Monty and Gibbs are both going to be out of the game by the end of the third, middle of the third quarter. I'm hoping.
I mean, the reason why we are stomping them.
We still got Thursday to prepare for. Like you can't go in and spend all of your energy, and that's why I think the ball is going to get spread around quite a bit, is because they're going to be conscious of we got 2 games in 4 days, or 5 days, whatever it really equals out to be. But we got 2 games quickly, so we got to keep everybody active, but not too active. So we got to keep feeding the rock to 3 different guys, keep passing it to 5 different guys. A 6 if they dress a 6th. I didn't look at the full dress report, so I don't even know who's dressed. I don't know if they put 5, 6, 7. I don't know what they did with the receivers. No less than 5, that's for sure. And they probably have to have 3 backs. But we don't have a fullback anymore to help take some of the load. And I doubt they're going to feed Rodrigo.
What are you talking about, man? We got
Rodrigo.
We got Rodrigo.
He's not someone who's going to carry the rock, though. But
it's like Kabinda is. Have you seen Jason Kabinda run?
But he did. I mean, they at least passed it to him a little bit. I don't like fullbacks, and I'm not saying anything wrong against Kabinda because he's an excellent dude. I just feel like it's a wasted position.
It is. And it is with him.
It is.
He's not like Juszczyk or anything like that. Jason
Mike Allstott.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I mean, how many fullbacks can you be like other than I think it's Juszczyk? How many can you name? How many the guys?
When I looked at the beginning of this season, I think 7 teams were carrying a fullback.
And how many of them can you name?
None, other than our own.
Okay,
0.
The Ravens guy, Ricard. He's a fullback, right? Oh,
never
okay.
heard of him.
Now the 49ers had a fullback, right?
No, yeah, Juszczyk. That's
they had Juszczyk.
That's the only one that I knew.
The only one. So it's like Kabinda to me is a wasted spot. It really is. We could have another wide receiver or, a defensive back, Kabinda. And when he's out there, he doesn't do anything. I mean, a block or two. I'll give him that. A block or two. So
I know they loved him on special teams, but you and I are like synonymous in the same boat right now because, and I know you are too, Andy, that if you get rid of your fullback, right? And then if you can actually find a center that can be a long snapper, that's 2 extra positions. That's an extra wide receiver. That's an extra offensive lineman or an extra linebacker, or, somebody extra, that you can carry throughout the season. And then I can't be that difficult to snap a long ball. And you can't be that great on special teams that they create a position for you just to be a fullback. I mean, that maybe they just don't have the players yet. I don't know. But anyway, we're going to wrap it up. So we're going to go final thoughts around the table about the game tomorrow. And then we'll see what we can't fit in before Thanksgiving. So I'll be at the Thanksgiving Day game. So there won't be any shows afterwards unless I do something late. Plus it's a holiday. Y'all don't want to see me on a holiday anyway.
I don't.
You can see me because I'm gonna be on, baby. I'm doing my show. The show goes on, man. So you can come and watch me.
There you go. So final thoughts. We'll start with you, Andy. Tomorrow, anything that you want to speak on and anything you want to say to wrap up the show?
Well, just want to say, as always, one pride, go Lions. I think there will absolutely be no issue. I'm giving this a W to the Lions. My biggest key, though, the biggest thing that will stand out is just contain Fields, keep him in a box, force him to pocket pass because we know how mobile he is. The only fear I have is we let Fields break loose too much and run. That could be our Achilles heel. But other than that, if we do that, which I know we can, I'm saying it's going to be utter domination. I saw in the chat somebody said we're not going to dominate them. I think we are. I'm saying 34-7. Big division win for us tomorrow. That's my take, guys.
All right. And Lions Syndicate, Derek Fields, what do you got to say?
I'm going to be with Andy. I think we dominate tomorrow. I think Justin Fields, he's going to be rusty. He's not the best thrower anyway. I mean, CJ Stroud is making him look like a baby right now, which is sad. But I'm going to take the Lions in the dominant win. They're going to be at home the first time in 3 weeks. Crowd is going to be insane. We've got 2 division matchups. And Will, to go with your point about the 4-day rest, and them only having 4 days, I think the Lions, they've had enough 10-day breaks this year. Like, yeah. I know it doesn't, like go together because you got games in between there, and they're going to have some more. They're going to have some more after this. They get a 10-day break. So not after this, but after Thanksgiving. So I think tomorrow, we don't know what Justin Fields we're going to get. Can he grip the ball? We don't even know if how effective he's going to be with the ball. So I'm going to take a dominant performance by the Detroit Lions. I think everything clicks, and we do like we did with Carolina, man, and we're up ahead very quickly, and we run away with it. I would love to see the backups in there. That would make me rejoice. So I think a dominant performance by the Lions, man, move to 8-2. And even with the win, we will not be in first place in the NFC, but we will see what happens with the Eagles on Monday night.
So everyone's already had their bye weeks, I believe, after week 11. I know there's a couple more in week 13. And when I say that, it's the teams that really matter at this point, right? It's the top 10 teams in the league right now. So after week 13, I think everybody's caught up. But my final thoughts for tomorrow is, look, Lions got to start hot and fast. Ben Johnson's got to keep mixing it up. I really loved what I've seen out of them the last couple of weeks where, it was feed Jameer, and you got the game rolling, feed Monty. It's just, you stick with what works. You don't go away from it. AG, we didn't talk a lot about defense tonight, but look, tomorrow AG has to dial up the blitzes. More importantly, he has to spy Fields. He has never done it. I've never seen the Lions spy Fields or any mobile quarterback. But why not just spy the guy and then send the guy? So you spy him and you send him and you win. It's that simple to me. I know it's not that simple in the NFL, but that's why I'm here. That's why you're there. And that's why the coaches are out there in Allen Park. Right. So, all right, y'all. Look, we love you as always. We appreciate you. If you have not, please take a look below and check and see if you've subscribed. If you haven't, come on in. come on into Rock Down Detroit Lions and bounce over to Lions Syndicate. And we'll see y'all next time on Rock Down Detroit Lions.
Will. 1 second.
Go
bro.
for it.
1 second. These two guys right here, these phone lines, use them. Use these phone lines, man, because we want to bring out a platform that's not 97 won a ticket, right? So we want to give you guys a voice. So you might be nervous the first couple of times, but you'll get over it. Like, this is a real platform for real Lions fans to call and voice their, their frustration, their happy thoughts, whatever it is. So I notice people don't seem to call in, but call in, get over your fear, call in, have some conversation with with these guys, and let your voice be heard, because that's the real reason that we're doing this, is for the people. And Will does all this stuff. Andy, just call in, use the phone line. It's not that hard. Just pick up the phone, open up the, everybody's got a cell phone, use it, call in. Even if it's, let's get 2 callers next week. Because, I know it takes a while to build up the phone, but call in, y'all, because we do this for y'all. So use the phone lines.
I appreciate that, Derek, and I appreciate you pounding that home. And of course, somebody's calling now when we're trying to get off.
Hey, it worked. There you go.
I tell you what, we'll take it. Give me just a second.
Okay. See, it worked. That's why you do it, Andy.
Derek.
Hey, Will.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
All right, are you on now?
Can you hear me now?
I got you now. Can you guys hear him?
Yes, I can.
Okay, you got you. Is this Vince, man?
Yeah.
Don't
tease me with a good time.
My man Vince. What's up, bro?
What's happening, Vince? So, how long have you been in the show tonight?
I have been dipping in and out, doing some other stuff. I've had it on in the background and just kind of listening. I was pretty happy to see my 2 favorite YouTube channels.
You say that to everybody, Vince.
At the same
time. Thanks, Vince. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thank you.
You're down in what, Bama or Arkansas or something like that right now?
Yeah, Arkansas, man. Which I never saw myself living in Arkansas, being a Detroit kid, but I ended up here, and I don't hate it. In a weird way.
You got good weather down there, man. It's almost like perfect weather in Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
It is, so I lived in Los Angeles for 10 years. I've lived in about 8 different states. And if people knew how good the weather was and how affordable it was to live here, there'd be a bunch of a-holes that lived here. But it's kind of one of the 50 states' best kept secrets. So I'm not
that's a good thing.
Not getting Detroit games. I got a VPN to try to sneak games, but I still can't really get it. So I end up watching Derek, and I know he's kind of not been doing the whole live show thing because they're messing with NFL being on YouTube is messing with everything for the live streams. And Derek, don't let me down, man. Keep live streaming those games.
No, I will, bro. I'm doing
arm wrestle you or something.
Listen. Look, not only am I'm doing the Lions, but I got a guy.
But yeah, man. I know Derek was getting on. Who's the new defensive guy we got that? Derek always says shopped at the dollar store or whatever, but I feel like it's more like shopped at
Bruce
Forever
Irvin?
41.
Yeah,
Bruce Irvin.
Yeah. So Forever 41, I think. And we don't need an all-star. We don't need to drop bank on an all-star necessarily. I feel like anybody that can actually contribute in a valuable way is going to help Hutch get free. But I mean, not that I wouldn't love to have a good defensive dude, but we just need help, man. We need a lot of help on that defensive line.
We do, but I'm wondering about tomorrow specifically. Do you think that we're going to have any sort of an issue getting at Justin Fields? And then the second follow-up question of that is, when we get at him, is he going to escape this time?
Well, think about last year, man. Like we beat on him quite a bit. I mean, he had his moments, but like we had a lesser defense, and we still schooled that guy a little bit. He had his breakaways and stuff, it doesn't have to be a perfect game defensively against him or the team, but and I know they got more pieces in the off season, but one of my old bosses, Nino Vitali from Italy, he was like, the fish stinks from the head. So if something's bad with something, it basically starts at the top, the leadership, the ownership. Mm-hmm. And like, I don't think they necessarily made the right choices in Chicago, but you know, we did pretty good last year against them. You know, I know the first game was kind of rough. That came down near the end, but by the second game, we kind of had their number. So I'm hoping that there's a resurgence in the defense. We seem to be on again, off again with the defense. Like they'll have a pretty crappy game, get spanked, and then come back a little more hardcore. But they're young. We got a lot of young dudes on the defense. I mean, they do need some veteran leadership, I think. You know, like, I don't know. Hutch can't do it by himself. And I've been listening to all the different major networks commentary on it, and they're talking about how Hutch just isn't getting there. And I don't think he's the problem. I think it's the lack of help is the problem. But hopefully tomorrow the defense can have a resurgence. And I don't know, man. Vince, the biggest worrisome thing.
Yeah, Vince, let me throw this at you. So I've got some rankings and things that I pulled up just for this show, and you probably won't believe this, but the Lions are winning a pass rush win rate at 38% of the time. They rank 26th in the NFL. And then I pulled up the top 20 edge rush win rate rankings, and Hutch is nowhere listed in the top 20. And double team wise, Micah Parsons is ranked at number 1, and he's double teamed 29% of the time. Myles Garrett is ranked number 2, and he's double teamed 32% of the time. And all the way down.
How often do those guys get to the quarterback?
Well, they're the ones that are winning the most. They are the winners. They're the pass rush win rate ranked, highest ranked players in the game right now. So
I stand corrected. Hutch is the problem.
Well, I don't know if he's so much the problem as if it's a technique thing. It could be. Yes, I believe he still needs some help.
He over pursues. He's always behind him, catch up behind the quarterback, which sucks because
you can't do that against Fields. You can't do that against the mobile quarterback. If he does, and that's what happened last year. Yeah, no, he won't. So
I mean, he has. So the only criticism I have on Hutch, other than the over pursuing, is, man, when he's running, he looks hilarious. Like he's not like a running dude. Like his pursuit is like over exaggerated, kind of like when Scooby Doo's like he bends his feet and then goes after it. It's like, God, man, come on! Like he's athletic, he's aggressive, he's a kind, nice dude from the D, but he needs somebody that he needs a veteran to be like, listen, kid, like this is what you're doing wrong. And I know the coaching and everything is great and everything, but I think he needs somebody he looks up to kind of calm him down a little bit, because he does get a little spastic, and the way he runs is just hilarious.
Yeah, he does kind of run a little bit out of control, and I don't know why my screen share is not working, but I was going to try to throw up these stats. I'll throw them up next time. I've been following these because, Derek has been right all along that our pass rush is, a dumpster fire, and he's right to believe that we needed some help, and we do.
And he's not shy about telling us.
No,
I appreciate that.
But you know who's number 9 on this list? Chase Young. So
really
wanting Chase Young was exactly the right pick, or somebody like that. Right. There just wasn't really many other people out there like that. But Chase Young is 9th on this list, and that's why he was such a good fit, because he was going to give us an opportunity. So I see that there's another caller calling in. Tonight we are we're only taking this one call.
Guys are already overdue for jumping out of here, so I appreciate you actually taking my call, man.
Thanks, Vince. Call in anytime you want.
Absolutely.
Man. Right on.
Thanks,
guys.
All right, bye-bye.
Take care.
All right. So the caller that just called in, I apologize. We're actually jumping out tonight. We're going on 2 hours. And please call in next time. We promise we'll get to you. And call early, 15 minutes after the show starts. The number's listed right here on the screen, 313-312-0348. That's a permanent number. Lock it in your phone. 15 minutes after the show starts, you guys can feel free to start calling in. And we'll take as many calls as we can and try to fit it to the show. Derek, I want to thank you for coming in tonight and being a part of the show, man. It's been a long time coming, and we certainly appreciate you. As far as the cruise information goes for everybody, I will be putting it up on the Rock On Detroit Lions Facebook page, the Twitters, everywhere else. We'll create a graphic or something, and we'll get it out there, and we'll share it on all the different shows that we do. Andy, appreciate you, man, for everything that you do for us, and
thank you,
I hope that you feel better here soon. And anybody else want to send it away? If not, that's it for Rock On Detroit Lions. So we'll see y'all next time. Go One Pride.
One Pride.
Wants to throw it to Sewell. He caught it. He Sewell on a first down. Oh, the big man. Guys down the 31-yard line. Oh, that is beautiful. Fields looking pressured, hit from behind, take it down. Aiden Hutchinson got him.
No respect.
So, we look like we're ready. This is day one.